What's going on, guys? It's Zac Perna here, and on today's video I'm going to show you my top 4 favorite meals when I'm dieting. So guys, today's video, the purpose is I'm going to show you guys a few of my favorite fat loss meals to have when I'm dieting. This will be breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then a dessert. Sometimes I've done so many of these videos that I forget what I have and haven't filmed. So these are basically my favorite ones. So one thing you're going to need for this is batteries. Not really, I just need to put these in my mic so you guys can hear me well enough. But we're gonna need some food, believe it or not. Crazy, I know. So we're gonna go to shops. That's how I speak. If you guys haven't noticed, I just mumble words together. We're gonna go to shops. We're gonna go to the shops. I'm gonna get some food. We're gonna come home. We're gonna cook it. Let's do it. So guys, the first meal we're gonna do is egg white cheese muffins. Now these are always a staple when I'm dieting. For some reason I love it. They're so, especially these multigrain muffins, there's like, how many grams of carbs? There's 16 grams of carbs in one. So a couple of those, easy. And then for lunch, we're gonna have the teriyaki beef mince. Now we're gonna have this with rice as well. And then dinner, we have our take on Hainanese chicken. So we always have this in the house all the time. It's basically like, when you really put it simply, it's like boiled chicken, but it's just not, it's amazing. And then the next meal we have is a bit of Chinese broccoli with some yogurt. No, we have, should be there. Greek yogurt with oxy whey and a few little toppings, which is like, I don't even know what I'm gonna call it yet. Let's call it maybe a raspberry cheesecake yogurt. It is awesome. I'm having it every night. This whole week I've had it every night. So I thought I may as well just chuck it on a YouTube video for you guys. So let's get into it. We're gonna start with the breakfast because it makes sense. So starting with muffins, you guys know what to do with these. Insert them up the rectum. No, you put them in the toaster. Okay, now these, I make them one at a time. So butter up the pan. Pan hot. Pan on hot. Butter on pan. Gray. Pan is buttered. Now this cheese, guys, this is what I call fake cheese. So it is it's like 100% processed. In one slice of this, there's less than 1 gram of fat and there's 2 grams of carbs. So this piece of cheese is 2 grams of carbs with like no fat. So it's basically not even cheese. I mean, this is more cheese than this is cheese. I gotta stop saying cheese. Cheese. But, so we're gonna have 2 of these. That's why 1 per muffin, and it just keeps the calories down. So really, I don't think that's healthy. I wouldn't recommend it for somebody just out there just living their life trying to be the healthiest. I'd say just don't. It's just one of those things, if your calories are super low and you're like struggling and you don't wanna live anymore, then a little bit of cheese, it's not that bad. I don't really measure this, but I'd say I'd do about 200 mil altogether, let's say. And we're literally just gonna pop the cheese in the middle and then fold the sides and plate her up. That's our muffin. And done. This is the end result. So, as you can tell, cheese in the middle. That's why this fake cheese is so good, because it melts just like perfectly. And it actually keeps you quite full. This is very low in calories and it doesn't feel like you're dieting. That is what we want out of these meals. So, this is meal 1. Time to move on to lunch. Now to make the teriyaki beef. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do our sauce first. So using a jar, use whatever you want, it doesn't really matter. I'm using a jar. And we're gonna go some soy. Now I don't have specific measurements for any of these because I've just done it that many times that I kind of just eyeball it. And if you make heaps of it, doesn't matter, you just use it later. Just put it back in the fridge. Soy, bit of rice wine vinegar or cooking sake, either one. Gives it a bit of bite. A little bit of mirin, aka Umarin sauce. Umarin, most difficult bottle to open. You also need a bit of sweetness, that's why we've got stevia. Stevia Spielberg over here. Just a bit. I actually like it quite sweet. Teriyaki is super sweet, but we don't want to use any sugars because cutting. So stevia is a godsend for that. And what I'll also do is sesame seeds. And then you guys can add water to this, and that's your sauce. Done. Easy teriyaki sauce, very low calories, and we've got a nice jar. So that means you can shake it and put a straw in it and then call yourself a hipster. And now what we're gonna do is cook the beef, dice up our onions, cook all the veg, combine it together, all good. And that's teriyaki, so let's do it. So guys, now this beef is cooked, so we're just gonna leave that for a little bit and get started on the veg. So if you want, depends on what your diet allows, but if you want more carbs, have more rice. But in some of my diets in the past, I didn't have the luxury of having heaps of carbs, so I just filled up with veg. Bok choy, I'm just gonna cook this before we put it together, so I'm just gonna steam it, just in chunks, just like that, with some snow peas. Whatever veg really you guys want. So just like this, a little bit of water, and then throw the lid on into the microwave for a couple minutes. Now if you guys are really low calorie dieting, this is awesome. So this is just Chinese cabbage, and it basically tastes like nothing, but it just goes so well in any like saucy dish because it just kind of takes up all of the flavors, and it's really satisfying to chop too. The only reason why I like to eat it. Look at that, that is very satisfying. And then once the other veg is cooked, I'm just gonna stir fry it all together with the remaining bits of our sauce. Where is it? I lost it. Where it is. With this teriyaki sauce. Heaven. Now, if you want, you can put a bit of sesame oil in here, but because we've already got, oh, that's hot. These are already like watery, so, hey, I'm trying to film, shut up. So we won't need any. So now that everything's cooked, we've got the beef here, veg here, and the rice is behind me. So I'm gonna get some rice, and depending on how much you guys are allowing yourself to have, go for it. You can have a whole tub if you want. I'm just gonna go with what I would usually go with, 150 to 200 grams. And a little hack here, I always put a little bit extra water in when I'm cooking rice, because it just puffs it out a little bit more. Okay, done, let's make this look good. And this is meal 2. So this is one of my favorite ones. You can use chicken if you don't want to use beef, but I just feel like it doesn't feel like a dieting meal. It's one of those ones that's just really, really enjoyable. Now this next meal is probably the most simple, and it's just awesome. So what you're gonna need is grab yourself a pot, fill it with water, obviously, fill it with milk, fill it with water, put in a chicken breast, a chicken stock cube, some spring onion and some ginger, and just let that simmer. So as soon as it starts to simmer, you're gonna set your timer for around 8 to 10 minutes. I've done 10 because I was dealing with a very, very big juicy chicken breast. Once the chicken is cooked, that's gonna be served with rice and vegetables. So here we just have a plate of one nicely compiled bowl of rice. And with your veg, you don't need to add any like seasonings or anything to this, because that's where the sauce is coming in the end. So I'll show you guys that. Very simple and plain. This looks like just a classic bodybuilder's meal. We've just got chicken, rice, and greens. But it just isn't, it's awesome. For the chicken, so you're gonna cook the chicken for 8 to 10 minutes, and then just let it sit in the water, not on the heat, off the heat, for another 8 to 10 minutes. So we've done that. Now to plate it up. Oh, that's perfect. So you guys are probably thinking this is just boiled chicken, it must be all like rubber, but it is the softest chicken ever. It's just really hot right now. Handsome. So usually I think this dish is made with like whole chicken or chicken bits with bones and stuff, but we've just used an entire breast here and it seemed to work really well. And now for the toppings, we've got some fried shallots, which are just the best, some chili paste, and some sweet soy sauce, which is heaven. So this is what really makes this, I feel. It's awesome. And that, guys, is our dinner, our take on Hainanese chicken, which will change the way you guys look at chicken, rice, and greens. This is not plain, this is heaven right here. That's done. Now, final meal. So what happens when you try to make one trip? I refuse to do 2 trips across the kitchen, okay? God, that sounds terrible. This, guys, is very simple. We're just combining all of what we have right here to make one bowl of heaven. So you guys are probably thinking, okay, Greek yogurt, it's healthy, fair enough, dieting, no fat, fine. Protein, same. But then we've got this Biscoff and jam. And you guys are thinking, isn't that loaded with sugar? And isn't that like bad for you? The short answer, yes. This is regular jam. You can get like, I think stevia sweetened jam, but didn't think that far ahead. And this is just Biscoff. Isn't the worst. It's 35% fat and 60% carbs. So look, it could be worse. But anyway, we're not eating a whole jar of it. You're just having a little bit. So for what it gives, I think it adds a lot more value than the calories that it provides. Oh, and I just spilled yogurt everywhere. Yes! 250 grams of yogurt. So by itself, doesn't really taste like anything. I mean, Bear loves it for some reason, but I don't. I'm not a cavoodle. And vanilla oxywhey is, and I've said this a million times, it is the best protein ever. If you guys just want a protein, grab this, because you can mix it with this, cereals, shakes, whatever, and it's just tastes so good. So one Zac 10 of this. The easiest way to plug my code, subliminal messages. And this is the most annoying bit, mix it up. Sound like such a spoiled brat. This is the most annoying bit, to mix up your own yogurt. I'm just gonna go with like a nice even teaspoon. Throw it in, full whack, plop it in there. And what is a Biscoff without its best mate, jam? Some nice sugars in here. And I'm just gonna put this into a nicer bowl, because it's gotta look good. This is a video on how to use the most dishes you possibly can. And we're just gonna top this with some berries. Done. The mixed berry cheesecake yogurt before bed meal of the gods. So guys, here we have it. We have breakfast, some cold egg white muffins. They would have been amazing, but I've had to wait about an hour. Lunch, we have teriyaki beef with rice. And then for dinner, we have our take on a Hainanese style chicken with rice and greens. And then for dessert, we have the best cheesecake yogurt you guys will ever have. So guys, try these out. Please let me know how you go. I think you guys are gonna absolutely love them. So I hope you enjoyed this video. That is all I've got for you for today. And that's it. Bear, do you have anything else to add? Agreed. Stay massive.
Slide into your DMs in the PM and the AM. Then I slide into your feelings when you see just what I'm saying.